Welcome back, beautiful people. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Now, up next, we have a great treat. My good friend, Andrew Giuliani. Does his name sound familiar? I hope it does. That's because it should be. He is the 36-year-old son of former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, who is now bringing his experience from the Trump White House to the governor's race. Although it's 6 months away from primary day for the New York governor's race, before you know it, voters will be hitting the polls. Now, I like Andrew for many reasons, but a few really stand out. Andrew said that he's against the mask mandate imposed by current Governor Kathy Hochul, especially for school kids, quoting him, "It's important for a developmental standpoint to see each other's face," is what he said. He's also against a vaccine mandate. Andrew is hoping to earn the GOP nomination, and I think he has a really strong chance. Tonight, he joins me to discuss why he wants to be governor, what he plans to do to reduce crime, his stance on the pandemic, and what it's like being a working dad. Research shows that children of present and engaged fathers are less likely to drop out of school, go to jail, and avoid high-risk behaviors later in their lives. And this is great news, especially as cultural roles are shifting and many families are choosing to share parenting more equally. As important as that it is, many fathers struggle to balance work, life, and being an active, involved parent. While this is a struggle that many moms face, with cultural expectations that women take the primary role in parenting, as well as trying to have a career, dads may experience unexpected challenges today than their parenting partners may not. Now, here to chat more about politics and dad and fatherhood is Andrew Giuliani. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Zen, great to be on with you. And you know what? They do say politics is all local, right? So there's nothing more local than having your little baby when you're up in the middle of the night with her. Although I must say, for a father, and there's no better time than getting to spend quality time with her. When my wife is nursing, so she's the one who always reminds me. She's like, you wake up for about 2 minutes in the middle of the night just to open an eye to see how I'm doing. I'm really the one in the middle of the night who bears the brunt of it, but it's an incredible joy then.
You know what? Congratulations. She's beautiful. She's perfect. She was born November 29th. That's a great day. That's my birthday. And Grace she really has your face. I mean, when you look at her, she is a little mini you. Congratulations.
Thank you. If she looks like me, it's going to be easier to fight off the boyfriends. If she looks like my wife, it'll be a lot tougher. So.
Oh, well, your wife is gorgeous and beautiful, and we all know, but she does have that Giuliani face. I do see it there. Has it been hard to adjust to these new norms, and how is it affecting your path per se in any way, if it is?
I think it's just given me more joy, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, you definitely get a little less sleep. I mean, joked around with my wife that 5 hours of sleep in a hotel sounds pretty good, some of these days. So there's challenges there, but the truth is, it's just such an incredible joy. And the first night holding her, it really gave me a new perspective on what we're fighting for, on why we're in the public sphere. Because there's, I look at all the issues that we talk about, whether it's crime, certainly whether it's education, whether it's the economy and having a job or an opportunity, whether it's the mandates that you highlighted before. And while, I was thinking about friends and myself and my family before, now it all goes directly to my daughter. So it really just gives you a completely new sense of purpose. And I feel like the happiest guy in the world whenever I get to take a look at it.
I love it. I love it. And well, now you're at the front lines, and so you see the issues at hand. Now you're not only just thinking as an individual, but you're thinking as a father and a husband who needs to provide. What is your biggest parenting concern in especially in our state right now regarding safety, schooling? What's at the forefront of your brain as a dad, not as somebody who's running for governor?
There's a lot of them, to be honest. It's tough to really narrow it down as one. Obviously, increasing crime is one of them. We're lucky that we live in a good neighborhood. We live in Battery Park City, so you don't really deal with it too much. But I used to take the subway, and my wife used to take the subway all the time. Now I still do if I'm going, from place to place in New York City. But I wouldn't bring my daughter on the subway right now, and I wouldn't do that. And then from an education perspective, right, when you think about different issues like being introduced gender blocking, hormone blocking therapy at a young age. My wife was an athlete. I was an athlete, not as good as my wife, but I was an athlete as well. we're going to have Grace, playing in sports and doing this and that. And, she might be playing with the boys for a little while. If somebody asks her, well, do you feel like a boy or a girl at some point at 5 or 6 years old? She might say, you know what, I'm playing with the boys. I want to be a boy or something like that. At that moment, I don't want her to be introduced to hormone blocking therapies, because I think at some point, it's a matter of if we're going to introduce that to our kids at a time when it's going to affect their reproductive system at such a young age. I look at that as child abuse, to be honest.
It's absolutely utterly ridiculous.
If at 18 years old somebody wants to do that, then that's fine. This is a free country and you have the right to do that. But for somebody who's a minor, to do something like that where you can never actually dial that back ever, and it can affect their reproductive system, it's unconscionable to me.
Yeah, these are long-term effects that not only on the mind and the body, but it's really game-changing, and that is way too young. And I really think that we've tipped the iceberg of crazy in society to even be having these conversations. As a mother, this is not even a fight. That should be at the forefront of this gubernatorial race. You should be focusing on the things that are actually, really at the forefront in terms of direct dangers to society. But you know what? If we don't address this, we're going to have a society of kids that are just following a trend, that have entitlement issues, that are being told yes for every single thing they ask for, and we're headed there. We're right there. So if we don't put an end to it, I agree. This is going to go very bad. I wanted to move on to something interesting. With you also said schooling. You said that you believe parents need to have more choices for children, including more charter schools. Talk to me about this, because I do feel that the choices in New York State are rather limited.
Yeah. So basically, charter schools in New York State started under the Pataki administration about 27, 28 years ago. And he was successfully able to start charter schools in New York State to fight against the unions and do that. One of the negotiations was that there was going to be 460, or the cap was going to be at 460 charter schools statewide and 270 in New York City. At the time, they weren't even at one. They were just starting. So, that was fine in the negotiation. Well, we've hit those 270 and the 460 citywide and statewide. For me, I want to make sure that in term one, by the end of term one of a Giuliani administration, we lift that cap and certainly get it up well above 1,000, because I really look at this and say, I had the opportunity. My parents gave me the opportunity because they had the means to be able to send me to private school. Unfortunately, so many kids in New York, so many kids across America, they don't have the means to be able to do that. And if they're in a school that is not performing up to the standard, then those parents should have more choice. They should have more options. And whether that's a charter school and having more charter options, or creating a tax voucher program in New York. So that way, the tax dollars, the property tax dollars, which, by the way, in New York State is one of the highest in the country. The property tax dollars that go into just now the teachers union, parents can use, so they can use it to send their kids to private school to help with the tuition and offset some of those costs. They can help with charter schools. They can help even with homeschooling if that's an option that they want to pursue, if their public school is not performing for them. I mean, this is a very free market approach, right? I really believe the more options that a consumer has, the better choices the better products are going to be out there, because they're going to be able to make a choice on that. When it comes to education, it's no different. And I would say the only thing that's different is it's even more important.
It's even more important. So important. Yes. Well, wise words, my friend, wise words. That's why you are running. And that's why I think you're going to win. Now, we're out of time. I want to thank you for coming on, but I will leave the listeners with stating the obvious, that your opponent, Rep. Lee Zeldin, already called himself the GOP's presumptive nominee. The last four polls have you up 15 to 24 points. The next question is, what do you say to that? We're out of time, but I say you're going to win. Don't even look at his little presumptiveness.
Well, somebody can presume anything. Well, we're going to be the actual nominee. So that's the way that I look at it. And you look at the last four polls, I think.
I guess we lost him. And there's a sign. More Mercury in retrograde drama. That was Andrew Giuliani. Make sure you check him out on the gram at Andrew H. Giuliani, or you can head to nyforgiuliani.com. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. We'll be right back after this.